Hey, what's up you guys? Ben here. The Omega Seamaster Professional is one of the most popular divers out in the market today, next to the likes of Rolex Sub and even watches like the Oris Aquis. Its fame arose in the 90s when it was worn on the wrist of Agent 007, James Bond, and since then its popularity has only skyrocketed. I love my Omega Seamaster, but it's far from being a perfect watch. So today I wanted to go over some of the things that I love and disliked about the Omega Seamaster Professional. If you're considering on buying the Seamaster, this video may be of help to you. It might make your purchasing decision easier or harder. If you already own a Seamaster, let me know in the comment section down below whether you agree or disagree with my list. With that said, today I'm going to be going over 4 things that I love and 2 things that I dislike about the Omega Seamaster Professional. The first thing that I love about the Seamaster Professional is its unique design. Compared to other prevalent divers in the market, like the Submariner or even the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, the Seamaster diver looks very distinct. It has its own unique DNA, which it can joyfully claim as its own. The lacquered black dial of my Seamaster is beautiful, even more beautiful in the sunlight. Even the helium escapement valve, which I gotta admit I wasn't a big fan of at the beginning, has grown on me, and I love its quirkiness. The bracelet, even though it's not perfect, it looks rather unique and eye-catching. People don't usually stop me to talk about what watch I'm wearing, but the few times that I've been stopped, it was for the Seamaster. The second thing that I love about the Seamaster is its history. This line of Seamaster is really well known for being worn on the wrist of Pierce Brosnan when it was his turn as Agent 007 in the 1995 film GoldenEye. But the history goes even deeper. Facing the course crisis, Omega as a brand was nearly on the brink of collapse. But using its diver line released in 1993 to collaborate with the James Bond franchise, the Seamaster Professional diver almost single-handedly put the brand back on the map. Without this line of watch, who knows where Omega would be today? The history behind this watch is a real conversation fuel, and I could easily talk about this watch for 20 to 30 minutes. The next thing I really love about the Seamaster diver is its amazing wearability. I have the 2012 Seamaster, and this one in particular is relatively thin for a diver watch, thin enough to slide underneath the cuff. The case profile is 41mm, but this watch really fits more like a 40, which I personally consider to be a sweet spot for modern day watches. I know the more recent 2018 Seamaster diver is a little bit larger in profile, with a case profile of 42mm. But despite its size on paper, it still wears relatively well and it should easily fit the wrist size of anyone with a wrist thickness of at least 6 inches. But if you want your Seamaster to fit more conservatively, I think the previous generation of Seamaster Professionals are the way to go. Last but not least, the fourth thing that I love about the Seamaster Professional is its versatility. Its wearable case profile combined with the versatile design of the bracelet virtually makes it wearable with any outfit. I personally worn this watch with pajamas at home all the way to a suit and tie for an interview. And I know some of you traditionalists may say that only dress watches should be worn in dressy situations, but I think times are changing and sports watches like this can be worn with a suit. I love the Seamaster, but it's not without its flaws. Now that I've gone over the 4 things that I love about the Seamaster, let's go over the 2 things that I dislike about this watch. I mentioned earlier that the design of the Seamaster's bracelet is unique and versatile. Sure, you can style it with a lot of different outfits, and I personally love the bracelet, but I'm not such a big fan of how it doesn't taper. There's absolutely zero tapering, which can make the watch look slightly overbearing on the wrist. It's 20mm thick from where the lugs are, all the way down to where the bracelet and the clasp meet. I'm not sure why Omega is continuing with this design choice, because bracelets from their other watch models, like the Speedmaster or the Railmaster, well, they all taper. I'm sure I'm not alone when I say this, but the bracelet feels bulky on the wrist, and I think tapering it from a 20mm to 18mm at the clasp will make the watch look much more refined and comfortable. The second thing that I'm not a big fan of is the Bezel Action. Sure, it's not the worst in the world, but for this price point, I expect something much better. The crunchy sound is there when you rotate the bezel, but the tactile feeling just isn't there. Oris Aquis, which is half the price point of this watch, has a much better bezel action than this. Not to mention that the edges of the bezel make it tough to turn when your hands are wet. To be fair, I'm not a diver and I'll probably never use the bezel for diving as it was intended, but this is a luxury product and I expect luxury quality. Overall, I think the Omega Seamaster Professional is one of the best watches that you can get in under $10,000. And as you've noticed, the aspects that I love about the watch heavily outweighs the aspects that I dislike. And the things that I dislike, to be truthful, they're nitpicks. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video, but before you go, tell me in the comment section down below some of the things that you love and dislike about this diver. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.